Hey guys, welcome to another video. We're in 7 Days to Die. What I thought I'd do is, because I've been playing it a lot lately, I put together a tips video. So coming up are 20 tips for 7 Days to Die in Alpha 18. I hope you find them helpful. So one of the best places to loot, especially in early game, is the church. There's no doubt about it, the church, because it has coffins lined up around the walls in the entrance area, and these coffins, they will often give you ammo like that. And there's more there. See, you can't actually take that one. Really good, recommend it. Then if you proceed into the church, there are pictures up on the walls. Knock those out. That's a generally good tip anyway. And you'll find there are some loot behind these. And you've also got some more coffins at the top. And a chest. 18 bullets there. And then at the back there's some other bits and pieces in there. There's a couple of secret compartments. There's one of the morgue doors can be knocked out, and in there's a chest or something, and at the top there's a lot of loot in this building. And just to top it all off, there are coffins mounted on the sign. You can search those, they will have loot. And then also on this sign over here, you just got to put some blocks up there. And then lastly, probably the best loot is up in the tower. And we're up in that spire at the moment, and there's a stash box here, and in it we've got the marksman rifle schematic. That's really rare. That is a really rare item. Great place to find loot. It seems to be really highly graded up here in this tower. Definitely head there. There's no zombies in that one either, so it's awesome. Now when you first start the game, you're thinking, why the hell do I need rotten flesh? Well, actually, it's a really good resource, because what it allows you to do is build a farm plot, and then you can grow your own crops in your base, which is very handy. And the best way to get hold of rotting flesh is through these carcasses that you can find on roads. I mean, they do spawn in amongst grass, but they're much easier to spot on roads. It's like roadkill. All you've got to do is use your knife, so you harvest the most efficiently. And you see on the right hand side, I've got 3 rotting flesh out of that. You need 10 as part of making a farm plot. So don't just throw your rotting flesh away, keep hold of it. So a good tip for eating is, if you drink red tea beforehand, if you use that, gives you a buff. Now if you go to our little person here, efficient digestion. What this means is the food and water that you eat or drink has an effect for longer. So sometimes you'll come across bags stacked up like this on pallets. Now these are cement bags. If you've got a shovel with you, grab it out, give them a good whack, and you can gather cement, which is really important for building, for your base, building some concrete blocks. And you get quite a lot. It takes a while to crush stone and in the forge create your stock of cement. There you go. Keep an eye out for those, and also these bags as well. You can get cobblestones. Those blue bags, definitely worth doing. Quickly builds up a stock, and you will need it to create your base, especially as the game progresses. Another tip is, if you've got a bike, there's 3 types of biking game. If you're in a situation where you jump off your bike, try and do it on a flat surface. If you do it in the grass and suddenly you're attacked, what you may find is it's actually really difficult to spot. Now if you're panicking, you may not immediately turn to your compass at the top where it shows you where your bike is. I always jump off my bike on a road surface or something like that. So I'm not kind of thrashing around to try and find the bike in a desperate situation. Okay, this is a really straightforward one, but something that I've noticed people don't recognise or realise, and it's this simple. If you right click and you've got a scope on your AR, for example, you can scroll the wheel to zoom in. So zombies can't climb up ladders that are 2 spaces up. So if you start on the 3rd space, now this is pretty common knowledge, but if you're having problems climbing up these, sometimes you jump and it took that time, but sometimes you jump and it doesn't take and you get stuck. What you can do is you can spam the space bar and it will launch you up that ladder, and although you've got no stamina once you get to the top, it's a pretty handy tip, especially if you're panicking and running from zombies. Burning fires are the things that attract the screamer zombies. So I use candles instead of torches. It makes a huge difference. Before I had a base with loads of torches, I was getting screamer zombies every 5 minutes. Now I've got the candles, they're hardly ever coming. They only really come when I turn the forge on, which is over here. The forge is here, or the fireplace. They do attract the screamer zombies, and in fact sometimes you can't always be completely screamer zombie free. But I highly recommend using candles instead of torches. Dye is relatively new to the game. When you're looting, say a house for example, or you find some lockers or a chest of drawers, and you find an item of clothing, your instinct may be to scrap it and gather the cloth, or you may wear it. Bear in mind, have a glance at the slots underneath the cold and heat resistance bars. There you may find some dye. If you want the dye and you want a particular colour for your clothing, some people like to stylize them, you can click modify and grab the dye off it. The item becomes generic and you keep the dye. There's very little point in putting your valuable points in pack mule. Although I put one here, this was before I realised, because in game now you have clothing mods. If we look at, say, my chest armour here, we have in this, I'll take it out, let's have a little look at this, modify, we have got this particular mod, and you can find these in game. Points are so valuable, there's absolutely little point in putting it in pack mule and increasing your carrying capacity. You may as well get the mods for your clothing, and there's some really easy ones to make as well. So you need to be a bit more careful in game now with your food, because lots of it will now, there's a small chance it might give you food poisoning or dysentery. So if we go to the stats here, this is just normal bottled water that you've boiled. There's a 3% chance of it giving you dysentery. If we look at eggs, there's a 4% chance of you getting food poisoning. Now, to combat this, keep a supply of vitamins. If you use a vitamin pill, on the left hand side over here you'll see there's 13 minutes. If we go to our character, you'll see vitamins. These vitamins do not cure ailments like infection, dysentery or food poisoning, but prevent you from catching them in the first place. So you're in a healthier position, and now you can eat things like eggs or drink water, and you won't get any ill effects from using those. Now, however you've got the game set up, you may lose your items from your hotbar when you die, or your backpack, or you may not lose them at all. But if you do lose them, it's worth keeping a backup weapon, or a few like this, in a box, because if you're going to go and try and salvage your backpack, you may need a gun. So keep some separate, don't keep everything on you. Keep it separate so when you spawn back at your bed, you can pick that weapon up and go and grab your best weapons which you had on you when you died. Screamer zombies will come at your base. The best way to deal with them is at distance. That way, they don't alert everybody else to your presence. If they get one of their vicious screams off, then you'll have maybe 4 to 10 zombies coming at you, and it's just a waste of ammo, especially if you're in the process of building. Also bear in mind, screamer zombies will sometimes come in pairs, or 3s, or 4s, depending on the situation, depending on how late in the game you are. Inventory management is key to the game. You want to try and get as much loot as possible when you're out and about. So bearing that in mind, bottled murky water stacks much better than normal bottled water, which only stacks in 10s. So avoid the temptation of boiling up more bottled water while you're out and about. Just boil up 10 and keep the bottled murky water in a bigger stack. That means you'll be able to carry more. When you get back to the base, you can boil this murky water up and you'll have more space to store it. There is a funky new system in game which allows you to create all sorts of shapes with different types of block. So if we do the normal wooden block here, wood frame block, you can see it comes out as a square, but if you just tap R, you get this whole selection of different types of block. Just escape out of it. You can see here you've got a kind of pillar. You can put that up there. If we look at, say, the rebar blocks, the rebar frames, you can use to fill with cement. If you tap R for that, you've got a more limited range. If we select that one, you've got pillars there. It's very cool, and it means you can stylize your design and your bases and create different things. And you've got a flagstone block here. If we tap R, you can see there's a whole range of different styles, very much like the wooden frame block. One of the quickest ways of leveling up and gaining XP is through building. The game is very much about building up your defences, and when you do that, you level up. Now you can go around scavenging, and you can get experience for most things in game, but this, in my opinion, my experience, is the quickest way of leveling up. So for example, if I level up this rebar frame, I get 480 XP just for putting the cement in there. Now it does take time to make cement, you can understand that. If I level up this wooden frame, I get 48 XP. So if I did 10 concrete blocks, that's 4,800 XP in a very short space of time. And I've found, as I've been doing bases, I've been going up levels, it's been the quickest way of leveling up. Something that becomes really important as the game moves on and the zombies start running more and you get radioactive zombies is you need lots of ammo. Now, you can make that in your backpack, that's fine, but the best way to do it is get a chemistry station and use that, because you only expend 1 coal and 1 nitrate powder, whereas if you make it in your backpack, here it's 2 of each. Costs twice as much to make it in your backpack. So get that going, get your chemistry station set up, or find one in the local vicinity.
You need a system.
Now you can buy books from traders. Here we'll have a look at his inventory. If you look down, okay, in here you've got, this is a complete list. And some of this stuff I've sold back to him. But there are special items. For example, Batter Up Volume 2. Whenever you go to a trader, there will be different ones at different traders. You can buy them and then level up. These are, in a sense, schematics, new skills to learn. So definitely check that out, save up your token. Oh, and incidentally, the safe behind the trader can be looted as well. So one of the best places to get schematics is mailboxes. Now, there's not one in here, but I did actually find a schematic in here. for a bench. So you can find books, you can find tool schematics, you can find a whole bunch of things, including paper. Often you find paper, and you probably get one schematic in every 10 that you loot, roughly speaking, depending on your lucky looter rating. And my last tip for the video is that I never bother with lock picking skills. There's you can do lock picking here. I've never put anything in there. It just means you can do it faster. There's absolutely no need. It's very tempting. It looks very cool. But all you need to do is keep lockpicks on you. You might break some, but I rarely use more than 3 when I'm picking a safe. Really isn't worth it. So save your points. They're so valuable. Don't put them in your lockpicking skill. It just takes a bit longer. And there's every reason to find your safes because they are one of the best loot sources in game. So guys, I hope you found this video useful. Lots of tips about lots of different things. If you did, click the thumbs up, and if you got any questions or comments, add them in down below. Thanks for watching.